AGHAST. Nicola plans controlling Scottish people when they do not support the second referendum. Nicola Sturgeon's approval ratings have plunged to a record low as she hinted at the return of COVID-19 restrictions across Scotland. A political poll found that 28% of people approved of the Scottish First Minister, with 38% disapproving. Ms Sturgeon's score fell by 5 points in a week to -10, meaning Ms Sturgeon is now below Tory rival Boris Johnson, -6. The SNP leader is also behind Chancellor Rishi Sunak, +19, but ahead of Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer, -18. It comes as Ms Sturgeon said she cannot completely rule out reimposing coronavirus restrictions as Scotland hit its worst ever number of cases recorded in 24 hours. The First Minister said Scotland recorded 10 coronavirus-linked deaths and 4,323 cases in the past 24 hours. A circuit breaker lockdown is among the options being considered to slow the recent spike of coronavirus infections in Scotland, it has been reported. Public health experts are reportedly lining up a series of options for Nicola Sturgeon after Scotland recorded its highest number of new daily cases today. Other measures being considered include new rules on social distancing and so-called vaccine certificates. It is believed that the most recent lifting of restrictions will be the first to be considered for reversal by Scottish Government ministers. A source, who has knowledge of government planning, told The Times, "There are two options: you could either put in a circuit breaker, you could shut down completely for a short period. Or you could move back through the stages and say we are going to limit indoor gatherings, we are going to reintroduce distancing." Scotland moved beyond the coronavirus level system earlier this month, which paved the way for the reopening of nightclubs while legal social distancing measures were scrapped. Since then, there has been a sharp increase in the number of new COVID infections. But the number of hospitalizations and deaths from the virus remains much lower than those seen during the recent winter peak. Almost 2,000 Scots were being treated for COVID when the country entered into its third week of strict lockdown measures towards the end of January. Today's public health data reveals that there are currently 391 people in hospital with the virus. Speaking at a Scottish Government coronavirus briefing in Edinburgh yesterday, she said the daily case figure is the largest we have ever recorded in a single day, but highlighted more testing now takes place than in the early stages of the pandemic. Ms Sturgeon said new cases in Scotland have more than doubled in the past week, making this one of the sharpest rises we have experienced at any point during the pandemic. Redfield and Winton Strategies, who carry out a weekly poll of 2,000 people across the UK, said of the survey lowest net approval rating for Sturgeon that we have recorded. Ms Sturgeon's approval ratings hit a high of +22 in Redfield and Winton's polling last September but have been falling steadily ever since. The SNP-led Scottish Government has also attempted to show Scots the COVID-19 pandemic has been handled effectively by launching a judge-led public inquiry. A draft of aims and principles for the inquiry was published on Tuesday, with members of the public invited to comment until September 30th. The Scottish First Minister said of the inquiry, "I can confirm it will be established by the end of this year, as promised, and it will take a person-centred, human rights-based approach." A cooperation deal between the SNP and Scottish Greens, which would see two Green MSPs become government ministers, was also announced on Friday. But Stephen Kerr MSP, Scottish Conservative Chief Whip, said, "It is little wonder Nicola Sturgeon's approval ratings appear to be on the wane. She's had to rely on the extremist Greens to drum up support for another divisive independence referendum after failing to win a majority. More and more hard-working families are going to be punished as a result of Nicola Sturgeon cozying up to her nationalist allies. A coalition of chaos has been formed, all in the name of pursuing an IF2, which will only damage Scotland's recovery." Redfield and Wilton sampled 2,000 Brits on August 23.